um, savings towards any goal, house, car, any goal. And how did you start? And what were your barriers?
So yes, I've started saving towards my home. Um, the barrier is saving takes discipline, and you have to build a routine. So that.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else started saving?
I'm saving. I'm saving for just to add funds to my savings account and also saving for Christmas shopping.
How
And
about
I
others?
guess just being consistent is my Achilles heel sometimes.
Mhm.
Hi,
Oh,
everyone. I've started saving, but I think a challenge that we face is like trying to get out of the rent cycle while also trying to save, and rent is getting increasingly higher, and how to have that be able to afford that and also save at the same time. So
This is Kathy Williams. I'm in the same boat as Emily.
okay. Any others?
Well, I started saving on it because, my daughter's about to have a child and I need the extra funds. So when she comes along with other things like purchasing this house that I'm currently living in, so it's just a little bit, but it's getting up there. I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't even touched any of my savings in the last 5 months.
Good job. So I will tell you that a lot of the barriers that all of you have talked about are very common. Um, Especially if you've never been in a process of saving, even starting with that first goal can feel really daunting. Especially depending on what your budget is, and what you're saving for. I'm going to share my screen. So some of the reasons why saving matters is that savings is the first line of defense against unexpected expenses like car repairs, gas, a medical bill, or even a broken phone. Gas is a thing right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Putting money away into savings, even in small amounts, can help people feel more confident in their ability to overcome a financial shock.
Mhm.
Saving just 1 month of expenses can help protect many households from unexpected emergencies or experiencing a significant financial hardship. There's been research that shows for that most Americans do not have the ability to have $400 in emergency savings without having to borrow, pawn, or other means in order to get it. $400.
Mm.
Think about during COVID when things shut down, and jobs went on furlough, how the difference in $400 could have been.
Yeah.
So non-savers indicate greater reliance on high-cost financial services such as pawn or payday loans. 71% of households face difficulty saving because of expenses they didn't plan for. Thinking about COVID, thinking about
Mhm.
this gas shortage. We didn't plan for that.
No.
That wasn't something that we thought was going to happen. More than half of households struggle to make ends meet after their most expensive financial shock. So, what are some common barriers that people have to saving? Well, some things could be starting with the amount of money that we're paying in rental housing. The
Mhm.
general rule of thumb for rental is that it should be no more than 30% of your income, including utilities.
Mm.
That is very hard in the areas that we live in.
Mm.
Prices are going up, up, and up. There's gentrification. I live in Chapel Hill. There's lots of student housing that is priced for students, um, and isn't necessarily priced for families. And so that is a really hard thing to have to deal with in trying to buy a house. So some ways to think about this barrier is um, thinking about how when do you plan to buy? So maybe if your plan to buy is a couple of years away, you're looking to find housing that may be more affordable in that 30% or has more things included in the price. Thinking about cost saving measures around things like utilities. So I always tell people about low flow shower heads, disconnecting things from outlets when you're not using them because it still is drawing power.
Mhm.
um, Connecting to Duke Energy around the free light bulb kits and things like that, if you haven't done it, and monitoring your utility use. I know with Duke Energy, particularly, they have the ability to send you a home energy report and they will give you tips about things that they see from year to year that are going up in your cost. And looking at that and really using that information to do some things different. I will say that during COVID, my utility costs went up. Everybody was at home.
Mm.
So we really had to do some different monitoring and thinking about what was most important, which was mom needed to work. But we have lots of windows and things like that where lights didn't have to be on. Um, and now that it's warm, I can actually work outside. Um, which helps with some of that cost also. So yeah, just thinking creatively about ways that you can save cost in your home. Um, Another barrier that I hear from people is people don't have a budget and they don't stick to it. And I realize that budget sometimes can sound like the worst word in the world. It feels like I can't freely spend my money. If you have a goal, you need a game plan to be able to do that. Um, some things to think about around budgeting is it helps you set limits on how much you spend in certain categories. It actually will help you account for every dollar going in and going out so you know how much you are spending and could be spending or could not be spending. Um, it helps you monitor your cost um, and helps you see from month to month where your variables are um, so that if you have to make adjustments. Um, and when I say budget, this is a whole family project. So I always say involve, if you have children, involve your children, involve your spouse. And you're sitting down and talking about what limits you're going to set for your budgetary goals. How much we're going to do in grocery shopping, how much we're going to do in on the go food, if we're going to do on the go food, entertainment, those type things, and making those goals. One little trick that when I worked with the home buyers directly before is we would talk about keeping one thing as sort of your splurge thing, and everything else had to go in this budget. The reason why we did that was I am not a person that believes in getting rid of everything because you'll bust your budget faster than anything in the world if you do that. But if there's one thing that you've decided, you know what, I need to have this thing. And so I'm willing to have this and cut out everything else. Your tendency to stick to your budget is easier. I don't know if Stacy wants to talk about what her thing was, but this was a conversation that was had with their family also, and they made some decisions and were able to save and still have their one thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that was really helpful for them to be able to be that focused and say, oh, we're not giving up everything. We're giving up other things that I'm choosing not to do.
Mhm.
Um, Create a budget and use whatever tool is good for you. I am a paper person. So when I do my budget, it is on paper. There are plenty of apps that people use. List all your monthly expenses, your bills, your essentials, your entertainment, and then subtract from that your post-tax monthly income. How much is left for saving? How much could you move around to free up for more savings? Um, like I said, I like paper. There's ones like mint that is good. Um, I recommend for the first month that you do this, you stay with the same habits that you've been doing so that you have the ability to make decisions from there, as to what your changes need to be, because you need to know what your already habits are in order to change a habit. I hear a lot, I don't have enough money to save. Um, as a person that has been formerly homeless and had to go through that process, I think this is a something that I said myself in that period. And what I discovered was that starting with whatever you can start with and creating a habit is more important. I remember I started a savings. I was doing $5 a week. Um, I was curtailing my Pepsi habit, and so the money that I was spending, that I would have spent on my Pepsi habit, went into savings. And it was amazing how much money I had over a period of time. I also had a person that was saving with our organization, and every month he was saving, it was a little over $5. He moved, still continued saving with us. And in 3 years, when he came back to see us, he had, I want to say it's a little over $500, which came at a time when he needed to move. And so the money was there. And he was like, wow, I had forgotten about this. So that really solidified for me thinking about the small amount and starting with the small amount and a habit. And what he did was he set it up on an auto save, which meant that it was coming out monthly. And he pretty much forgot about it. And it created its own habit. And so when he came back, he had this money. I recommend auto saves for savings. Um, because I think creating that habit of it already coming out before you touch it, is important to help create that habit. Another barrier that I hear a lot is, well, I don't know what goal to start with, or I don't know what goal to save for. Start small. Start for a small goal, like, with our organization, our first small goal is saving towards a laptop. We work with an organization to get refurbished laptops. So people start with $100 savings. Um, Once they accomplish that, then they go to another goal, which could be a car, which could be other things. Um, but yeah, it's easier to achieve if you have a target, if you know what you're saving for and saving to, and it helps you keep yourself accountable. So start your monthly savings, start small. Um, when you hit that target, you'll feel good knowing that you stayed on track. When you don't, you can go back and see what happened, and whether there are any changes, and or if it was just one of those months. This is a good place of setting up those automatic transfers every payday from your checking to your savings. So you don't have to make that choice. It's automatically going. It's really hard to add a new habit. Um, there is research that says it takes 30 to 60 days to form a habit. So I always tell people, don't beat yourself up if you don't succeed the first time. The important part is to keep going and to keep trying and to figure out what has gone wrong, how to fix that. Those will help you create a habit. Um, so ease into a new saving plan. Don't set something difficult. Um, I have people come to me and they're like, I want to save $5,000. First thing I ask is, have you ever saved to a goal? Most of the time, people say no. Well, that might be a little high to start with, and it may make you upset if you don't do it correctly. So let's start with something small. You can always start with something small, save that money, and go on to another goal and add to that money. Um, once you get more accustomed to managing your money and saving, then you increase your targets. If you're doing this as a family, make sure everyone is part of the savings so everyone knows, hey, we're saving towards a house, we're saving towards a car, we're putting money away, so we're going to do some things differently. Sitting down and having that conversation. One thing you'll find is your kids will keep you accountable too, because they want those things too. Um, Also finding people in your family, in your friends that will help you be accountable, but also will help you regroup if you need to start again. They're going to be that support and encouragement, but also if something happens and you have to use that money or whatever, is a person that's like, okay, well, let's start this again. Because we need those people in our lives too. Some things you can do to you can look to do or increase your savings. So couponing, using store savings cards, meal planning, and shopping. Um, I'm a meal planner. I plan my meals every 2 weeks. I was doing about a month, but then I realized that what I want to eat changes more than that. So we'll do it every 2 weeks. But also my kids help do it. They are invested in helping doing some of this work too. Not buying name brand. Actual store brands have to be the same quality as name brands. They have to be. Keeping up with things like car maintenance. One of the things I heard about this gas thing the other day was if you're keeping up with your car maintenance, you don't actually have to burn as much gas or need as much gas. Bringing lunch every day. Thinking about how some of that instantaneous spending we do about going out to eat or swiping y'all's Duke cards, how much that is costing. And when we make meals, there's always leftovers for the next day for lunch for people. So that's something we're doing. Finding free and affordable ways for fun. Now that things are opening up more, there may be more of that. I love farmers markets. I'll go look at the farmers market all day long. I'm not spending anything. Track your spending and assess it often. So make sure that you're looking at your variable cost and are there things we can be doing differently, but also making sure that you know that your heating costs may cost more, or during the summer because of air conditioning, it may cost more, those things. When you get tax refunds and stimulus things, thinking of those as savings funds and putting them away. Um, I saw quite a few people do this process and think about, you know what, this is money that can carry us through COVID. This is money that when COVID is over is going towards our goal. And so really using the things like that to start those savings, be an initial infusion for your savings funds. I'm going to stop sharing. Are there any questions, any things people want to talk about?
I'll confess about my my
Yes, do it, Stacy, because I don't want to tell it for you.
Okay, it's gonna sound odd, but don't judge me. Okay. I like my house to smell good. So I have an addiction with wax. Nobody gets it. It's a wax, the wax that you put in a wax warmer and it makes your whole
Yeah.
house smell good. And when we budgeted with Donna, I was unaware of how much I spent on this wax until we had to compile our receipts. And I realized I'm spending like $100 a month
Oh, wow. Yeah.
on wax.
Mhm.
So I was like,
And not
okay,
Walmart wax, by the way, okay?
it is not Walmart wax. So I said, okay, let me, it was to the point where I could take, the little storage bins and I could fill up 2 storage bins full of wax. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pause on the wax and I'm not going to buy wax until I get at least halfway through this wax. And then I think I've probably within the year only bought it once this year.
That's good.
I know I'm doing good. And my husband's was shoes. He is a PE teacher, and he felt like these were his work shoes, and he was allowed to get Jordans every month. And so we have dabbled him down, and I think Craig probably, 3 to 4 times a year. I'll be honest. He has burnt me out on the thing. But we realized that our house was more important. Those were things we wanted but didn't need, and a house is what we needed, and I really wanted it. So I decided I can sacrifice what I don't need for what I really want.
Yeah.
So there was a question about beginning to save when playing catch up from balances and low income from the pandemic. That is going to be hard. The thing that I would recommend is looking at your expenses, looking at your habits, and is there a habit that you might could give up that money could go to your savings? Like when I started saving when I was in shelter, the only thing I could give up was my Pepsi habit. It was about $5 a week. Um, it was healthier for me to do it anyway, and I could take that money and put it in savings. That seems really small. But what was more important was I needed to start a habit of saving, period. And this was the way to do it. Um, and the money does, it does accumulate, depending on what you're doing. Um, but yeah, I think this is going to be particularly a hard time to start savings, and don't beat yourself up about that. There are going to be, some people will get things like this new child tax credit money. What I've told to people is put that in savings, because that's something extra from what you were already getting. Put that in savings. That's a good way to start. Just automatically send it to savings. Think about how much that's going to accumulate in 6 months, 9 months. Um, so be looking at ways of where there's something, and maybe you trying to start with one habit you have and saying, you know what, the money that I've been putting into this, I'm going to put into savings. But yeah, this is going to be a particularly harder time to save, I think. Um, but it's also particularly a harder time to buy a home. And that's something to think about too. It's a seller's market. It's not a buyer's market. Houses are going very quickly. I mean, I ain't never seen anything like this. It's going to they say it's going to slow down some. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be in our area. There are too many things coming here that people need to buy a house. But, maybe that means that your goal is a little longer. And so you're starting the habit. I think that is the most important thing to think about. Is just starting the habit. Are there other questions?
I just have one question. Does the program work for like people want to purchase a house you're currently living in?
I don't think I've ever worked with someone purchasing the house. Yeah, I did. Actually, I did. I did have one home buyer that did purchase the house he lived in. And the way that we worked with him was he needed to save the money. Was the biggest thing. So we did some credit work with him because he had credit work he needed to do. I'll tell you a little bit about my organization, which is we work with all kinds of people, helping people with some of the credit work, helping people with budgeting. We have a match savings account where if you save up to $2,000, you can get a 15% match. So you save $2,000, you get $300. You can do that as many times as necessary. The two things you have to do is save towards a goal and work on what we call financial coaching, which is things like the credit work, budgeting. You might even want to save towards a laptop, those type of things. That is how we work. We did have a program before of where we were doing a higher match
Mhm.
and more individual work around home buying. So, helping people get not only do the credit work, the savings, but actually, for some people, um, with the savings money, making sure that banks recognized what it was,
Mhm.
because it's not gift money, it's your money.
Mhm.
And so doing some of that work, supporting people through answering questions about the loan process, um, those kind of things. So that's kind of the work that we've done as an organization, but we can do that with anyone. We can do that with anyone at any stage.
Okay.
So, maybe if someone is thinking 2 years from now, I'll buy a house. Well, working through the financial coaching and going ahead and getting your credit work done, but also starting a savings and having
Mhm.
that money and putting it away,
Mhm.
um, is important because you're going to need that. Um,
Yeah.
at the end. I also used to do various fun things with people. I had a home buyer that wanted she wanted a red washing machine and dryer, and I managed to find it for her, and at a good price. So
Mhm.
I like to do those kind of things because I think when you get to the end of a home buying process and you're in the process of buying a home and you have the ability to do, I really want this one thing. I want to
Mhm.
be able to support people with that too. So,
Yeah, that's where I'm at with this
yeah.
house. Cause I've been here like a long, long time. I practically paid for the house, but just got to the point where now, like I'm just ready to go ahead and buy it because I don't think I'm gonna go anywhere. I mean, it's a great location, great yard, everything like that. So yeah.
And how is the seller
Oh,
about?
oh, she wants me to go ahead and buy it. She wants me to go ahead and buy it. So I'm like, okay. I get things going where I need to be going, and once I get there, I'll let you know, and that's it. But she's ready
Okay,
for me to buy it.
good, good, good. Make sure you get your inspection.
Oh yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Let's find out what we not what's wrong and before we do this thing.
Yes.
Yep.
And I
Mm-hmm.
have one more piece of
Sure.
advice. If you're buying a home from the person that you're renting, you might not need a realtor, but you do need an attorney to draw up the contract. You want
Mm-hmm.
to, once you've gotten the inspection, you want to move forward. And then that attorney can also do the closing. So they
Oh,
should, if you have an attorney or if you need one, we have a short list of attorneys who try to keep their prices reasonable. Or else
okay.
your lender. That's the other thing to do. Go ahead and start working with Angela or me.
Okay.
So you're ready to go to a lender and get a mortgage.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to move nowhere. I've been here so long, and it's just I know some upgrades need to be done because being here over like 10 plus years. So why not just stay where you at instead of trying to go somewhere else paying double and have less yard? Yeah, but I appreciate it though. I send you guys the email.
Also, I saw in the chat the person with the Bath and Body Works addiction. Let me tell you how to deal with that one, which he is.
I'm guilty.
See, which he is. You only buy Bath and Body Works when it's on sale.
I use coupons.
That too, but there are certain times a year where they do it on sale. I have
Mm-hmm.
been that same person, so I know this one. I would only buy it on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my intention with buying it on sale was always this was going to be Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, all these things. So I didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would only buy it on sale. And this past year, there's been a couple of really, really, really good sales.
Yes.
And so yeah, I think, and that's still a goal. You still get to get the thing you want. You're just doing it at a certain time that
Mm-hmm.
it's more advantageous to you. So yes, I always, yeah, buy it on sale.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other questions?
In the chat, we have a question, and It's an interesting one. It's from Kia. Is it better to get some land and build a house? And so some people do have land, or sometimes there are builders that have land. Usually it's easier to find things through the realtor. So the realtor is totally free to the home buyer. The buyer's realtor is paid by the seller. And so you might want to, start talking with realtors and find out about new developments that might be happening. There's not a huge amount of new homes being built in Durham, so you might want to look in the counties around Durham if you want to do that, if you want to find land, or if you want to find a development and get a new house. Does that answer your question? Oh, and one other thing. If it's a developer who's doing everything, they will put together a team of people. They have their own lenders and attorneys and all those folks. You do not have to use their folks. And I found that over the years that the builders, lenders, they just want to close on the house, sell you the house. They don't want to work hard to find you programs. So you may want to go ahead and get your own loan, make sure you're all pre-qualified. And then if the builder's lender has a better deal, you know what you qualify for, you can see, if you want to use their lender. And then sometimes they give you discounts with the attorney, but you can use your attorney. Angela, do you have
Okay, I
anything?
just wanted to, yes, I wanted to add to that if you have land and if the land is considered rural, USDA is the best program to use if you wanted to build from the ground up. And there was someone who said that they were leasing and their landlord is gonna sell them their home. They could ask if any of the money that they were paying in rent could be used for their down payment. That can be negotiated as well, especially if you've been a long time renter.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay. You're welcome.
I have a quick question. Miss Donna,
Yes.
so your match program, do you think that it will ever be where we can do the automatic draft?
You can do the automatic draft.
Okay, well, I'm working with Maya and she asked somebody and so I sent the money order. So I was asking about that.
I'll be here. Your appointment's on Tuesdays, right?
Yeah,
We'll do it on Tuesday. I got you. Yes.
thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because that actually makes a significant difference if it just comes out and it's not something you have to do some effort for, because that will deter you faster than anything else. Sorry, Larissa, there is a question in there about what are the pros and cons of doing a first time home buyer's loan?
There are lots of programs for first-time home buyers. I don't know if there's a particular first-time home buyer loan, but there are some loans like USDA that have zero down payment. There's FHA loans, which you can get at a lower credit score, although they may be a little bit more expensive though if you don't have a big down payment. But there are some great programs that can help you with the down payment or the closing costs for first-time home buyers. A lot of lenders have those programs, about $7,500 from the Federal Home Loan Bank. So the lender, if they know that you're under a certain income and you're a first-time home buyer, they'll let you know. But definitely tell them you're a first-time home buyer, so you might be able to get that program You can only get that as a first-time home buyer. If you've owned a house before, you are actually a first-time home buyer if you have not owned that house for 3 years. So you get to start over and use those programs. And there's another wonderful program, which is called the Mortgage Credit Certificate. And a lot of banks and credit unions can offer you a tax credit, which is a lot better usually than the tax deductions. Again, that's a first-time home buyer program. So you can get a tax credit for the mortgage interest you pay, and then the rest of it you can deduct if you itemize. But a lot of people, they don't itemize. So the tax credit can get you $2,000 tax credit a year for as long as you're paying mortgage interest and you have federal income taxes. You'll get something back as a tax credit.
Can I say something? I just want to say the list that you sent me, Larissa, was awesome. And the first thing they ask you for is the home buyer certificate. So that's the first thing. I was disappointed with Bank of America because their threshold is so low and they really don't want to service this area. They're really for Charlotte and Greensboro. So they let you know that up front. And the threshold was very low. But as far as Wells Fargo and the others that you had on there, got an instant approval from state employees, credit union, and Wells Fargo had the most to offer. And they, like I say, used the certificate you gave me. They gave me credit for working with you. Just so many credits for going through this program. And it's been really seamless. They educate you. They, walk me through everything that we're learning here online. It's awesome. It's really going very good. Now she emailed me today that she's sending my stuff to underwriting. So yeah, it's really, this is a really good program. So I'm very grateful. And thank you for telling me to go to CEF for the match program. And that's been really good and helpful because they've just given me ways to save more money, and just this is a really good program. I really want to say thank you. Thank you for all your advice. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I do want to let you know, we have some new folks who weren't here last month, that the city of Durham realizes that house prices are high and people are having trouble, buying in the city. And so they are starting a program. We're actually going to have a meeting with them, I believe next week. And it's supposed to be a forgivable loan. So it would be $20,000 forgiven over 20 years. So $1,000 a year comes off the loan. So if you stay in your house, you don't have to pay anything back after 20 years. If you sell the house, you just pay back what has not been forgiven when you sell the house. It should, the sale of the house should take care of everything. But if it doesn't, they're not going to put you in debt. They just want to help you get into it.
Larissa, do you think there are going to be particular neighborhoods with that, or is it just going to be Durham, which would
It's
be
citywide.
that would be so nice. Okay.
And then there's another program that's statewide. So you need $30,000 at zero interest, which you do have to pay back, but you don't pay it during your first mortgage. So it's like a down payment of $30,000, or you can use it for closing costs, or a combination of, anytime you see down payment assistance, it can be used for the down payment or closing costs. And in this case, it's a state program, so it's offered in any county. And we help people apply for that one also. Let's see. So I'm going to put in the chat Rosa, who helps us with our appointments. And she can also help you with a home buyer certificate. You will get credit for the home buyer club towards a home buyer certificate. And usually that means 6 to 8 hours. When we do each of these, that's an hour that counts towards your certificate. When you meet with me or Angela, that counts towards your home buyer certificate. And it's definitely needed for the first time home buyer programs. They always ask for that certificate. And they may ask for it with other programs as well, including the program from the state, government programs. Oftentimes they want you to have that certificate. And like Malik said, they will give you credit for it. You can get, sometimes you can get a better loan, and of course, get opportunities to use the programs. The other thing that they like to see is a 640, actually more than one 640 credit score. So you'll want to aim towards getting at least 640, and then the higher your credit score, the better. But the programs, they like to see the 640 scores.
I also put the information for CEF in the chat. Were there any other questions?
So Ms. Donna, I have a question.
Sure.
What do you recommend should be like an acceptable goal when you're saving money? Like you said, sometimes you can put your goal too high and then you end up disappointed. So what do you recommend is just as a good, just say an average starting point as far as your goal?
I think it depends. I think it depends on if you've ever saved to a goal before. Setting it too high if you've never saved to a goal before will always cause you problems. So that depends. I tend to tell people I would start lower, so 500 to 1,000.
Okay.
And get that accomplished. And you can especially with us, you can set, once you accomplish that one, you can set another one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think making sure it's something that you can attain is important.
Okay.
And creating that habit. And definitely things like the autosave help create that habit. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And no one asks how much you need to save to buy a house. What do you
Well,
think?
somebody just asked what is a good goal if you're a first-time home buyer. So maybe Larissa talk about some of the different costs that people might incur, because that's something that I'm usually like, well, you got to have money for this, money for this, money for this. That might be good to talk about.
Yeah. So the sellers are going to want money, a deposit put down on the house. To get a contract on a house, they're oftentimes looking for thousands of dollars. 2,000 used to be sort of the going rate, or 1% of the cost of the house. But now, things are very competitive, especially for the existing houses. And so people are putting down maybe even 5,000. Maybe not all that money would be at risk, but some of that money is going to be at risk. If you don't buy the house, you could lose it. And then some of it is for later on, just to reinforce how much you really want, this house, that you're willing to put up, more money. So your realtor will be helping you, figure out how much to put down when you make an offer. But if you can have your down payment, which is typically 3%, that's very helpful. That's, for a $200,000 house, that would be $6,000. And so that it's helpful to have your own down payment. But if you can get programs, that's great. But if you have your own down payment, it makes you a much stronger candidate for a mortgage. The mortgage lenders love it when you have your own down payment. And then if you don't need to use it for the down payment, that's great. You can use it for the closing costs, or maybe someone will help you pay for your closing costs. So then it's up to you whether you want to leave that money down on the house, because then you've paid, a larger down payment, and you don't, you can leave that money in there. So your mortgage is lower. So your payment is lower. So the more money, the better. But I would definitely try to save $5,000-$6,000 or more if you're looking at a more expensive house. So think about 3% of the purchase price. And then the other thing that you do have to do is, hopefully you haven't had to put all that money down on a house to get it under contract. But as Donna said, it doesn't matter what kind of house you're looking at, you want to get an inspection. Even a new house, you want to get an inspection. So that's about $400, maybe a little bit more, $400 or $500. And then you may need to, well, you will need to pay for the appraisal. The bank requires that you pay for the appraisal. So first you get the inspection to make sure that the house is in good shape. If it's not, you negotiate. Your realtor will help you negotiate. And then once you decide this is really the house for you, you want to get that appraisal. The bank wants to make sure the house is really worth what the seller and you agreed on. So you have to pay, that's about $500-$600. So together it's about $1,000 that you need. And of course you want to have that emergency money too, because you want to make sure you can take care of any emergencies. You don't want to have to go into your house money, to take care of the car. And if your car is breaking down, you want to be able to fix it, because you do not want to buy a new car before you buy your house. You can always get a car loan, but it's hard to get a house loan if you have a big car payment. So those are a few more tips about saving. Save for your emergencies, save for your down payment, and just keep saving as much as you can. Are there any other savings tips people have?
Oh, mine's coupons.
Stacy is the coupon queen.
I live for couponing. I am a coupon. I save the receipts that people give me, and it says at the bottom, if you call this number, you get a free burger. I call and I get my free burger. I am a Chick-fil-A points, Starbucks points fanatic. They already know when they see me, they were like, oh, do you want to use your points? And I'm like, no, save my stars for the next drink. Fanatic. Any way possible I can save money where I'm not spending my money, I'm going to do it. And when I come into my class, you'll know it, and you can be, couponistas too. I think now, Larissa, if I'm incorrect, was I not supposed to do a prize? Oh, you're muted.
I don't think we have the people that were there. Let's talk about that later on.
Okay.
I was there. I should get the prize. I was there.
Yeah, someone else was there too, though.
That's right.
I was there.
Just disappeared.
And I did exactly what you said. I called CEF. I'm enrolled.
Okay.
I'm working with my work over there. I've started saving my yes. So I should get
it all.
Because that was one of the things y'all recommended, was getting into that program. And I did. Yes, I did.
You called all three?
Huh?
I think Jennifer was there too. Jennifer, I think she raised her hand. I think Jennifer was there too. It's between you and Jennifer.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I'll pull a thing up and let Larissa handle the rest.
That's right.
I'll pull it up and she can get the Cash App information, and then you'll see who won.
Well, you have to hear from Jennifer.
Hey, I see your hand.
Hi, good evening.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, I apologize. I got my time mixed up. So I just came on just a few minutes ago. But I went to the website that's in the chat, and I saw it. I believe it was a savings account. I think. Yeah, on the Community Empowerment Fund. So is that something that I could look into, the safe savings account, as far as maybe saving for down payment for a home? Is that more or less
Yes.
what that's for?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
well, that's good. Wow, okay. Um, well, I won't go into detail now. I'll
Okay.
do some research and reading, and I'll reach out. This is
Okay.
perfect for for me. Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, I think, well, wait a minute now. So maybe it wasn't Jennifer. Was no one else here except for, how do you pronounce your name? Because I don't want to say it wrong.
Malik.
Malik. Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. Was anyone here from the last trip, last time we Zoomed, or is it just Malik?
Oh
Now
no,
you
this is my
know.
first session.
First session. Oh, okay. It wasn't Jennifer.
I was, but I had a hard time hearing you guys. So I was there, but I couldn't hear anything.
Did you do any of the qualifications to be in the drawing?
I did not. I didn't, like I said, I couldn't hear anything. I didn't know nothing about that. I just joined the meeting and was just reading everyone's comments in the chat and tried to comment as much as I could.
We'll converse.
Well, I just dropped in the chat as well. If you came late or wanted to re-listen to something, we'll be putting this recording on the YouTube page. And so I just dropped in the chat, the YouTube page. So there's some presentations from last year already. But if you, for some reason, wanted to go back and listen, this recording will be there. I'll try to get it uploaded tomorrow. So hopefully that's helpful as well.
Okay.
Hey, this is my first time on here. I do got a question. Do you have the Zoom recording from the last meeting that y'all had?
We did not record, but I believe the last session was visioning. And I think that we did record visioning from last year. So if you go to the YouTube page and find the one that says vision board from September 10th of 2020, you can get very similar content to what was talked about in the last session.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, can I ask a question? I'm Juanita. Can you hear me? Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, what I'm trying to ask, what I'm trying to find out, is this like a step-by-step program? Like first we go to Donna and then we go to Larissa? This is my first time and I'm trying to find out what I'm doing.
That's a really good question. So we can work in parallel. If you want to get involved with the savings program, it comes with financial education. And so you might get busy over there at CEF. Saving is really number one, but you can also grab an appointment with me or someone at Reinvestment Partners. One of the services we offer is to help you pull a credit report that's a soft pull that does not hurt your scores, but it's exactly the same report that a mortgage lender would pull, and it would have the accurate credit scores that a mortgage lender would see. And you would leave our office and you would see the same credit scores when you go to the lender. So that's one of the services that we think is really, really valuable to do that, as soon as possible. And then if there's anything that you need to work on, do that and then come back after you've worked on the things you need to do and see how your scores have gone up.
Thank you.
And then when you get those 640 scores, come back and let me know you think you're ready to go visit a lender, and we'll give you that list of lenders with the people that we know that really like to work with first-time home buyers, because it takes a little more time as a first-time home buyer to get a mortgage loan. Same thing with realtors. You don't want a realtor who's going to rush you. You want a realtor who's going to take care of you and really listen to you want, and they know they're going to be working hard trying to find, a house for you, because you don't have a house already that you just sold and have a whole bunch of money to put down, so they're going to be fighting there with you to win that bid on your house. And they enjoy it. These are folks who love to work with first-time home buyers because, we get a lot of joy out of, helping you buy your first home. We hope you enjoy the process. We try to smooth the way.
Thank you.
I just want to let you all know it's probably one of the best programs I've ever experienced. I came in this knowing zero, and I am an AB personality. When I know something, I'm very confident about it. But when I don't know something, I kind of go in a shell. And there were a lot of things I did not know. I've learned so much that when it came down to me fighting, which I think I said on that, they said it on the Duke work thing, that I was given a lender. I did not like the percentage that lender gave me. I knew that percent was not correct because I had been coming to the classes and I knew that percent was extremely too high for what I knew was the norm. And I was able to push and fight and find a better lender that was, the lowest number they had at the time. And it was great for my husband and I. I've learned patience. It's not going to happen when I want it, but it happened when it's supposed to. And I was able to save and reach my goal. And all of these ladies know that I thank them on a regular basis because I would not be in my dream home if I did not do this program. And I'm ever so grateful. And Donna is probably, because even after, the brutal budgeting, it's not brutal, but for me, it killed me. And because I was a spender. And but I am still keeping up with their lessons. Like it's been 3 years almost. And it is still embedded in my husband and I am only the better because of these ladies. So I indulge you all to take every opportunity they give you, all the information they give you, and soak it in like a sponge, because it is worth it in the end to say that, my name is signed on the dotted line and this is my home and no one can take it from me.
Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.
Was there a question?
No, I think I see something here. Do you work only with home buyers interested in buying homes in Durham? You can buy a home wherever you want. It's the same process. And because we work with that statewide program, we know a little something about North Carolina, and we can help you. In fact, that's another great resource is the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. And you just type those initials, nchfa.com. And you'll find all the programs that they offer. And also you'll find the interest rates. You'll find out what the market interest rates for someone who has a 640 score. And those interest rates are really low. And you want to know, what's the market interest rate? Because lenders may not offer you the best interest rate. Like Stacy said, you may have to say, well, I saw this great interest rate on the NCHFA. And they have their own mortgage loans that they basically work with any mortgage lender who wants to work with them to qualify them as being a good mortgage lender, one that's going to give you a good deal and not try to, charge you more than you should have to pay.
I just wanted to add to that, Larissa. With North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, it's based on what county you decide to purchase, and the house price is affected too based on the county. And then they have programs for if you're low 80% of the median income, or even if you're at 100% of the median income, they have the Home Advantage program. So if you go to the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency website, you'll get a wealth of information based on your income. You'll find a program that meets your needs. It's just finding a house, because you'll find a program that meets your needs.
All right. Well, I need to hop off to close my office, but you have contact information for my organization. Let me know if there are more direct supports that people need. And hopefully I can join y'all again next month.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Bye.
Larissa, we cannot hear you.
One more thing, 3 people said they were referred by a coworker. I hope they're still here. Ken and Polian. And Lionel, I think, said they were referred by a coworker. Are you all still here? Let's see, I think the coworkers, Emily Nash and Cassandra. Cassandra, did you win last month? Oh, the meeting next month, it's always the second Thursday at 5:30. Emily, you're here.
Yeah, hi.
And Cassandra, I see you here. Okay, Emily, I think Ken said that you referred him.
Yes.
All right. I think Cassandra won last month, but this is your Food Lion card. We have it here at Reinvestment Partners. Cassandra, there you are. I know you're working too.
Yes, I'm working at the same time.
Did you win last month?
Yes, ma'am. And I have forgot all about it to come and get it.
Angela has your card, and now I have a card for Emily.
Okay.
So I'm going to put my